And when I crawled back into my window, first of all, I got lost coming back to my house. Hello Sim family, my name is Carrie Jessica. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you have been hanging with me for a while. I am your friendly neighborhood silver-haired simmer, the mom in the neighborhood that spends as much if not more screen time than the kids. Today is no exception. So I went in and recorded a few of the teen a day prompts. I will put them over here so that you can see what those are. We've been kind of doing this over on Twitter quite a bit. When I say we, just like me and people that I follow that I've been watching on Twitter. And so the ones that I'm going to show today are the party thrower, the theater kid, and in a rock band. I am skipping around on some of these because I didn't record all of them, but I just wanted to kind of get excited for the high school pack. But also, my game is so glitchy because my mods aren't, you know, they're being updated right now. By the way, tip your modders. So I didn't want to really get into any of my saves today, so I figured I would pull these out and share these with you. This is a super long intro. I am so sorry. Let's just get into it. Now, this first sim is Shayna. She is our party thrower. And I will say a lot of us have been kind of like talking about high school throwback kind of era stuff as this pack has come out, and high school for me was a hot second ago. I graduated in 1994, which is also the same year that I had my first child. So, you know, go prom or labor and delivery. So for me, the party thrower was kind of a fun one to do because I wasn't really like, I don't know, I kind of was one of those kids that like bounced around within groups, but like I never really felt like I was in a group. Like I was a cheerleader, but I wasn't like a cheerleader that hung out with all the cheerleaders all the time. And I was invited to parties and hung out with people who were invited to all of the parties, but I wasn't really part of that like crew either. Like I just kind of floated around, which honestly I think is the case for the vast majority of us. I did go to school in America. I grew up in Florida. One of the things I think I'm most excited for when I think of the party thrower is the sneaking out, because that is something that I didn't sneak out of my own house very often, but I very much had a friend of mine that lived around the corner, and we would sneak out of her house all the time. Her parents were those parents that like honestly, once a certain time came, you could just like walk out the front door, which I could never in my house. My kids could never in my house either, because I'm such, like, I don't sleep, so like I'm always awake. But the sneaking out is super exciting. So there is a funny story though that I snuck out one time when I was in high school out of my window. I snuck out a few times, but one time I forgot to put the screen back in when I like crawled back through my window. So when my stepdad got up for work the next morning, my screen was like propped up against the side of the house, so he obviously knew I snuck out. He put my screen back on. I mean, I got in a ton of trouble, but the funny part is he put my screen back on, and then he put black nail polish over the screws so that if I messed with them, like if I had someone come and try to undo it from the outside, you could tell. So I wasn't able to sneak out effectively that way again for a very long time, which was really funny. I want to say I did not keep track of their CC as I was making them. My throat hurts so bad. I'm so sick, you guys. I'm so sorry. I did not keep track of their CC as I made them. I am pretty, where can I find friendly? I will log back into my game if I'm busy doing something else just to like answer a question, because that's just like, I don't know, my personality. Like I'm very like, I just want to know things, and I want to be able to help someone else know things. So if you do have a question about something specific, I will try to figure it out for you. Close, much more difficult for me. I have closed from long before I knew that creating content for The Sims was even a thing. Like before I knew that other people asked other people where they found stuff. Like before I knew anyone else was playing The Sims outside of their own bedrooms.
Oh, I feel a little sick.
Sorry, I'm so sick. So a lot of the clothes that I've had for so long that like I don't really know where they came from, but most skin details and hair I can figure out where they came from. So if you have any questions along the way, just ask and I will definitely try to find those for you. Sorry, I am so sick. I am negative for COVID, which is awesome. But so if I start sweating profusely, just pretend like I'm glowing, because I'm doing that thing where like I throw on a giant hoodie because I'm cold, and then all of a sudden I'm hot, and then I've got the air conditioning down so low that I'm just kind of a disaster. So anyway, another funny sneak out story for me. One time I snuck out of my house And when I crawled back into my window, first of all, I got lost coming back to my house. So like I went, the person's house I went to was like a mile away from my house. And I was trying to be like sneaky and stay off the road so that the police didn't get me or something. I don't really know what I thought I was doing, but I cut through the woods, which I got really, really lost. By the time I got back to my house, technically I should have made it back around like 3. It was like 5:30. Like my alarm to get up in the morning was going off in like 10 minutes by the time I got home. And yes, it was a school night. What was my problem? I have no idea. So there we have Shayna. She is our party thrower. I think that she would totally appreciate this story. So I get back home. I'm like, I've been crying, walking through the woods in the middle of the night by myself. Dying. And I sneak back into my house and my mother is in my bed. The room was pitch black. I did not know she was going to be in my bed. I like crawled in and felt a person and screamed, which of course woke her up. I got in so much trouble.
I've been grounded.
I really, it sounds like, okay, so I've given 2 stories about sneaking out. This is going to be our theater kid. This is Eve, and I actually ended up being obsessed with Eve. I think that Eve is one of the coolest Sims that I have made in a long time. I really, really like this Sim. So I have a lot of stories, but the reality is, I mean, I was a naughty kid. I was a rogue teenager, that is for sure. But I didn't really get in trouble. I didn't really do things bad all the time, but I was that kid that every single time I did something, I got caught. Like every single time. So I was always grounded. Like I was grounded year round, it felt like. I once got grounded for an entire summer, like 3 months. Who gets grounded for 3 months? So yes, the time that I snuck back in and then my mom was in my bed literally scared me half to death. It was the scariest thing ever. Another funny story, when I was in high school, I lived with my mom for the majority of my life, but I did live with my dad and my stepmother for a couple years when I was in high school. I still to this day, when we go to like family stuff in front of my kid, like this still gets brought up all the time. They are convinced I snuck out one time and that I was drinking. Now, and I am so honest about everything I've ever done. All of my kids even know all the stuff I've ever done pretty much. I did not drink. I drank one time in high school. It was really gross. Everyone I hung out with drank. There was a bottle of Jim Beam, which is so nasty. Like, why? Gross. But there was a bottle of Jim Beam, and everyone's making fun of me because I always would show up, but I never drank. I was kind of the goody-goody, but like, according to my family, I was always in trouble. But in my friend group, I really wasn't doing a whole lot of stuff. So they were making fun of me for not drinking. So I picked up this bottle off of the coffee table and I just tipped back and I chugged it in such a defiant, I will too drink way that everyone there who drank all the time was silent. And I took that as that they were impressed. I didn't take that as that they were like all very silently shocked and concerned about what was going to happen next.
Not good.
I didn't drink the whole bottle, but I drank a lot of it. Like we're talking like dehydrated, chugging like half of a water bottle. That was basically what I did with this Jim Beam. And I set it down on the counter, on the coffee table. And I looked up and was like, see, I will too drink. I am missing huge chunks from that night. Like, luckily I was with friends that I genuinely, maybe should not have trusted, but at the time I genuinely trusted and felt safe with, and they did get me home. But yeah, that was not great. That is not an intro to drinking. So that was my first time drinking. So it's funny that I am still kind of getting in trouble for this like sneaking out drinking event when I lived there in high school, because I just moved there. Like, and it was hours away from the town I grew up in. So I had no friends. I did not know a single person my age. I also did not drink. At this point, I hadn't even had that night where I drank. So like, I have never had a sip of alcohol in my life. Don't care to. I've had tons of access to it. Never had a care in the world. Didn't even want it. I got in trouble for sneaking out and drinking when I didn't know anyone and I didn't drink. So I didn't sneak out because I didn't have anywhere to go. And the windows were these like cranky windows. I'm giving you guys all of my like dirt. The windows were these like cranky windows that had just like tiny slats. They weren't like open up windows. So I wouldn't even have known how to get out of them. Isn't this Sim adorable? I love her. By the way, I have all of these extra traits because at the time that I did this, I had a mod in my game for extra traits. So even though they're teenagers, they have 4 traits, even though teenagers usually have 2. I don't have that mod in my game anymore. I'm pretty sure it's busted anyway, because most things are busted right now. But anyway, so I still get in trouble. She's so cute. Oh, this is going to be our inner rock band. I love him, especially considering, like, I'm coming off of having finished Stranger Things. In fact, someone in the comments on one of the last videos were talking about Stranger Things. And I was into Metallica. I mean, I was in school when Metallica was new and Master of Puppets was a new album. And, like, I don't know, I just really felt like Stranger Things just, like, rekindled the headbanger moment in my life. It was never a huge headbanger. I've definitely, like, sprained my neck before. That was definitely not to Metallica, though. That was to Alice in Chains, I think. Digress again. You know, I have to say, I don't know that I would definitely go back to high school, but looking back, there's funny memories in there. Anyway, so I still get in trouble for the sneaking out event that did not happen. And apparently my stepmother still to this day will tell you that I reeked of wine coolers and that I was, like, stumbling around. Okay, at this stage, I have never had alcohol. I have no friends. I just moved there. And the stumbling around thing throws me. Because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, just like when I woke up in the morning, like, I'm not a morning person, so maybe I was stumbling around then. So there were definitely things that I did not even do that I got in trouble for. I'm still grounded, I swear. Watching this is making me miss 3 columns. I had to take that out of my game because it didn't... By the way, I'm recording this the day after the patch came out, like after the update came out. But I'm recording my face the day after the update came out, but I'm screen recording from a couple of weeks ago when I was just, like, tooling around in the middle of the night. So that's why my game is running differently than what it does, like, in real time. I think I already said that. I don't even know what I've said and what I haven't. I'm, like, delirious. I really like this sim. I don't really make many, like, male sims and think, like, oh, I'm gonna go, like, headbanger. Like, that just doesn't... I don't know, I don't think of that. Like, I grew up in a beach town, so I don't know, I always think more of, like, the surfer skater guys, because that was a little bit more my, like, crowd. So yeah, it was kind of fun to make a metalhead. I like him. I like him a lot. Alright guys, I'm going to end this here. Thanks for hanging out with me while I rambled about some times when I got in trouble. I swear I'm a good bean now. Alright guys, if you have not yet, give this video a like and drop a comment. Those things help my channel. This is a baby small channel. I really appreciate it. If this is the first time that you're hanging out with me, this is a little more random than normal, but I hope you have had a good time. If you would like, you can hit my face over here to subscribe to the channel. I do upload videos usually about 3 to 4 times a week. I usually run things like Not So Berry. I'm currently on the yellow gen on that one. We're just about wrapping up with yellow gen, and I love all of the sims from my Not So Berry, so I'll put those videos there. I also run the Star Sign Legacy Challenge. So it's a newer challenge, and I'm having so much fun with it. I'm on the very first gen, and I will put those videos up there. Alright, I'll see you in a couple of days. Bye.